The other members that we included that also needed to be part of it were the Crisis Center and Frankston Police Department, and we included the Westwood Independent School District, the Palestine Independent School District, and the Elkhart Independent School District. So we have all law enforcement involved in the development of the protocol. At the end of the development of the protocol, which you have attached the protocol, it starts on page 4, it is required by law that we present it to the commissioners so that they can approve the protocol. Once the protocol is approved, it will be in full force in effect. This has to do with the response of sexual assaults for adults. It's not a child sexual assault response team. And it's mandatory that we have this protocol in place by Texas legislation. We're very proud of the protocol because it will bring all of our members together and operate in a much more efficient and much more victim-orientated response in a criminal investigation response to sexual assaults as a whole. So we're asking that you approve the members of the SART team and you approve the protocol before you today. The statistics we are in the process of developing, so we made a decision as a group that we would give you some statistics to show you how they would look. So we went back in time and looked at our statistics for just this year. The statistics then will be presented to you on a every other year, and you will see how the statistics are going, what the arrests are from Palestine, what the arrests are from the Anderson County Sheriff's Office and the other police departments, what the indictment rate is and prosecution rate is with regards to the sexual assaults. So we were asking that you please approve the protocol, and you also approve the SART team as a whole. Does anybody have any questions?
And the next item on the agenda is the approval. So this was just to hear your presentation. The next item on the agenda,
yes, sir,
will be the approval.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We talked a little bit about maybe that trauma-informed interviews.
Yes, sir.
That came out in the last couple of years.
Yes, Judge.
Might help with some of that training that needs to be done.
Yes, Judge. As you know, the Crisis Center has taken over the new management and new people that are working for the Crisis Center. I personally met with those individuals last week, and then they also came to our office last week and met with Allison as well. There's a lot of good forensic interviewers and a lot of good people coming out of that Smith County that are now working for Anderson County at the Crisis Center. And so we're very excited to use some of them as experts in our trials with regards to victim outcry, delayed outcry, child outcry. Those are mostly children investigations. But I prosecute the adult sexual assault victims and any child victims that Allison gives me to do.
Is the hospital working to try to get a signing nurse, though?
Yeah, I talked to one of the individuals from the hospital. It probably was about 2 weeks ago. I know that there had been some that the Crisis Center had been looking at that kind of fell through, and I know that the sheriff over here has been actively working, trying to find a sane nurse as well.
Okay.
So with your past history of work, do you think that the ISD, or just say like the university and the community college law enforcement, not actually having security guards, but actually having law enforcement there, has helped keep the numbers low?
The numbers are traditionally low for adult females in rural areas to report sexual assaults. So these numbers are pretty much in line with how they've been developed over the last couple of years in Anderson County. I think from what I see is once we get a appropriate response team like we have developed now, victims kind of come out of the woodwork. So it's a trust thing. Like when I was in Palau, they didn't have first of all, sexual assault became law in 2017, which I think was a rude awakening for some of the older Palauans. But once it became involved in that, then when I got there, I met with CID and we developed the registration forms in Palau and the requirements for those individuals on the islands to register. And then I started going out to the local communities when we found victims and interviewing them on their whatever hut they lived in, or there was a lot of people living in cardboard boxes out there because it's the second world. And once they realized that Helinda, who was CID investigator from Palawan, and I would be out to the islands talking to these people that are victims. We had a lot of cases come through the system that would have never been reported, that should have been reported. So we had a lot of convictions when I was there for the last 2 years, and we developed a protocol for their country.
Any other questions?
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Ms. Everett.
Thank you.
Item number 15 is receive and approve the SART report for 2023 and a list of SART response team members for Anderson County. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered. Item number 16 is consider and take action to approve and authorize county judge to sign the contract on previously approved quote by Commissioners Court on September 25th, 2023 with CDW Government LLC for disaster recovery. We got the contract, and Allison has looked over it and approved it, and just so we can get our disaster recovery in place, we just need to ask y'all to authorize me to sign the contract.
I need a copy of the contract, but it's the same as what we had already run through here. She had went through it. It's not in my package. So, but we don't need it. I don't need it. I don't have it. But it's the same as what it was with her approval. Is that what we're passing?
Yeah, she's gone over it and approved it.
It just
There
wasn't
were a
in
few
my package. I
things-
didn't know what it
There
was.
were a few things, she
No
worked with
change.
IT and CDW to make a few changes and add some language here and there. And so, other than that, it's just so we can get the disaster recovery in place. We've been working on the contract for a while, and she's reviewed it and approved it. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract with CDW for disaster recovery. Do I have a motion?
Judge, I'd like to see the copy of the contract. If there's been changes made to it, if you don't mind, can we move to the end of the
Sure.
court? Let me just look. Do you know what changes have been made, or
No, I think we had a bullet list.
did you have it, Kenny?
No, I didn't have it.
I mean, I'm all for supporting it. I just like to know what changes we've made to it.
I don't, yeah. Can you get yeah. Can you make copies of that for me? Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it wasn't.
It's not here. I don't have, no one has it.
Okay.
I'd like to see if you don't mind.
All right, let's move to, we'll come back to item number 16 then. Item number 17, consider and take action to approve the budget for Senate Bill 22 Rural Law Enforcement Salary Assistance Program grant. And we talked about that back during the budget, and we're getting close to the time for us to apply for the grant. And
Do you have a copy of that?
so,
No, sir, I don't have a copy of it, but didn't we send?
no, I've got copies to hand out. The sheriff sent me a copy of what he proposed, and then I had actually put some figures together also. But I asked him for his input and see what he was thinking. So let me hand out these handouts.
Judge, did we set anything to the side to propose this or not?
Do what now?
During budget time, did we set anything to the side for this?
We never, you know, we talked about maybe just waiting until we got the rules. And finally, they've kind of defined the rules more. We didn't really do anything until that point.
Okay.
So that's why we're doing it now. And I've talked to some other counties. I actually talked to the comptroller's office, making sure that I understood the rules, so we did it correctly. And so I'll try to share some of that with you. Let me see here. Okay, here's a packet with the rules. Lisa made packets with a suggestion that I had, that's each one gets one of those now. And I did this before I had the sheriff's suggestion. Just trying to put some numbers together. Did everybody get a copy of that? Megan, did you want a copy?
I have one.
Okay, all right.
Do you want me to give you one to the sheriff?
Yes. Here's a couple extras for the sheriff and chief deputy. Of course, this is essentially what we talked about back during the budget, is what the sheriff was suggesting. Something changed since the budget on some things, at least one position that we had talked about at the bail bond board. And so, I was suggesting that maybe we split the transport deputy and the special services deputy for cattle as one position, and then a bail bond coordinator, depending on what the court wants to do. The sheriff has got a special deputy for cattle, and then one for transport, and that's what we talked about back during the budget, along with 6 jailers. And that's gonna be a little over the $500,000, so the general fund had to pick up on the sheriff's suggestion, it'd be $43,765 extra over the $500,000. And then if we went with a bail bond coordinator instead of and kind of split that one position, then it would be an extra $26,895 from the general fund. Yeah. And you can, one of the things I want to check is that permissible? And so if you look at the rules on the second page of the rules, down under sheriff's office, once you meet the minimum requirements, it says you can hire additional deputies or staff for the sheriff's office. So essentially it was, as long as we met the minimum standards, which is $75,000 on the sheriff's salary, $45,000 on the deputies, and $40,000 on the jailers, then you were okay to use it for other staff too. So essentially, it's the difference in those two is whether we do a bail bond supervision, a coordinator. And so everybody understands that just a brief description is there's a disconnect to a certain extent. We talked about this at the bail bond board. They may make a presentation at some point on that, but since this was coming up, we needed to get a budget in place before the first of the year so we could apply for the grant. Then that was a need that came up after budget. Okay, so that's why I was trying to show what the difference is. Now, what happens is somebody goes to jail, and then the bondsman, once they're booked in and magistrated, the bondsman will come in and make the bond. Okay, so, and there is a AG's opinion that we've reviewed at the bail bond board, and it shows kind of how that should track. It should be, the example is with cash bonds, but it should be the same with surety bonds. So it goes from, that bond stays with the sheriff's office until the case is filed. So it doesn't, what's been happening to a certain extent, some of those bonds are going to the clerk's office. Unfortunately, the clerk does not have a case file with them to attach that bond to. So essentially, the cash bond under that AG's opinion stays with the sheriff. So if the surety bond is staying with the sheriff in the same manner, then they're asking for somebody to coordinate that, okay? And keep up with the bonds. Because what happens, and here's an example, what happens is the case is filed either by the police department or whatever law enforcement agency, the sheriff's department, constables, whoever files their case with the DA's office. Okay, well the bond doesn't go with that file, it stays with the sheriff's office. So what happens is either the district attorney, one of two things happens. Either they file the case, either they're indicted by the grand jury or an information on a misdemeanor is filed with the county clerk. So once that case is filed, then the bond goes from the sheriff's office to the clerk. Okay, but if, let's say the district attorney's office decides, okay, there's not enough evidence, or maybe they feel like they're not gonna prosecute that case for whatever reason, don't feel like there's probable cause, maybe they don't think the evidence rises to the level of prosecution, then that case is not filed. So what happens then? Well, somebody's got to be notified at the sheriff's office that bond they're not going to prosecute. There's a disposition, maybe a letter of non-prosecution. But the sheriff's department has to have somebody that's keeping up with the bonds to make sure that that person's released on bond. And so let's say Billy Bob is arrested and he's on bond, and the bondsman nor that person knows that that case is not going to be prosecuted. So what they're asking for is somebody to coordinate to find out, what's happening with this case. Should basically the bondsman be released from the bond and the individual defendant is released and no longer, because what could happen, and I see that as a liability to us, if for some reason that bondsman gets off, doesn't know that case is not going to be prosecuted, they still think they've got somebody on bond. So they do a release of surety, a warrant's issued, and they get arrested. That same person gets arrested. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. That creates a liability for the sheriff and for us if they have a warrant outstanding and that case is no longer going to be disposed. So that was my thinking about, they were requesting this. They asked at the bail bond board that, we try to seek some kind of funding. So that was my suggestion for in the grant. So that's my thought process. So I'm sure the sheriff probably wants to address the court on what he thinks and what he wants. I just threw that out there as an option, and we figure out where he wants to go with it. Morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. Good morning. I think you made a really good case for the bond coordinator, but a couple of points I want to clear up. That's not a dictated duty of the sheriff's office constitutionally or administratively. It's something the sheriff's office volunteered to coordinate on behalf of the county. Kind of like we do with the public safety reporting system. That statutorily was not given by the legislature to the sheriff, but because there were some problems deciding how it was going to be administered in Anderson County, I volunteered that we take care of it if we had the funding for a person to do that, and we've accepted that, and I think so far there's been no complaints that we haven't been able to work through and satisfy everyone that we're keeping up with that public safety reporting system and coordinating that. And we'd be happy to step up and do that with this, given an individual to do that. However, I believe that the SB 22 is identified specifically for law enforcement and the sheriff's duties that we are assigned to perform by either the Constitution or the Texas Government Code. And I'm not sure that this volunteer position or responsibility, it would be the best use of that. We're still open to any other funding that we can find for that and volunteering to do it. We've had a little work committee. I believe the clerk's office has been involved. My chief deputy's been involved, where we visited with folks in Smith County, and they identified a funding source through the commissioner's court, and the sheriff took over the coordination position so that everything funnels to one person and there's no real loss of communication, or we don't miss anything, as the judge pointed out, because we don't want to make a mistake with somebody's freedom. But that position is best coordinated by one agency. He stepped up and volunteered for that. We'd be willing to do that ourselves. However, I'd like to dedicate SB 22 to the actual assigned or constitutionally assigned responsibilities of the sheriff's office.
But on that, our first conversation, I think on this, you specified, I think, on the bail bonds coordinator side of it, that this person, if they were put into place as, you know, I guess the special deputy and you taking that, you know, responsibility to keep up with it, this person really wouldn't stay busy just doing that and they could do other duties for you. Wasn't that in the conversation?
It wasn't a deputy's position. It would be a clerical position like my
Okay.
public safety reporting person. And, of course, any individual is going to have time off and all the other benefits that y'all give. We would coordinate that with the current personnel and make sure that the responsibilities were covered. But I wouldn't volunteer to take on anything else other than that with just one person, because there's a lot of other things that go on. I would make sure that we're covering for each other in the reporting, public safety reporting system and all the other duties the sheriff's office has. And we do that by making sure that they're cross-trained in various areas.
Okay. So if we went with the bail bond coordinator, that'd still be something that you're volunteering to do. So that person just be put under you and be used full for nothing other than just coordinating the bonds. Is that correct?
Coordinate the bonds and cross-train to coordinate and do other things with the records and other divisions that I have already.
I got you.
In other words, they could have multi-duties.
It's, we're the only part of the county that really runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If my public safety reporting clerk is off, sick, vacation, maternity leave, somebody's got to do that job, because the judge can't come over and legally do the magistrate's duties that he wants to do unless I have that report filed for him. Then somebody else in my records division or some other personnel that are assigned to me will be cross-trained to make sure that gets done. Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, okay, whatever the court wants to do on this thing. But I just wanted I called the comptroller's office and I had a specific conversation about making sure the funds were being used appropriately. And they said that the reason they left that as general on the rules with staff is because if all the other criteria was met, which we are, you recognize that the court knows that we're over the minimum requirements, that could be used for other staff. And that position could be that other staff. So I just wanted that for clarification.
How y'all fund it is a commissioner's court decision, but I want to make sure that I'm on record that I'm trying to make sure that we fund fully any positions that I have put in our request for law enforcement to provide better services to the county across extended hours. The judge in the commissioner's court was good enough to, for an example, would be the mental health deputy. Now we can perform better and more adequately our coverage by extending that by another 40 hours per week by having a new employee that's in the budget. If we add some of the positions we want, like transport or another special services deputy, we can provide even more services with these transport and special services deputy, where we can free up the regular patrol deputies to handle the cases and the duties that they have plenty of to do already. And
So you're more favorable to the one that has the special services there?
I'm more favorable to the one that includes law enforcement related positions, the jail and law
enforcement. That would
enforcement.
also assist in our mental health transports and stuff like that, right? I mean,
Yes. The way I would write and have written some tentative job descriptions is like the special services deputy and the transport deputy would also cover for the mental health deputies when they're not available. Everybody, the way I look at it, every job in the county is my job. I hire deputies to help me get them done, because this is not Mayberry and I can't do it all by myself. Even Andy had Barney. Even he had a little bit of help. So if it's some duty I have, we're all going to do the same job. We're all going to help each other out.
If we go with this route, though, who's going to coordinate the bond, the coordination?
If y'all create a position for that, we will step up and coordinate that. We'll visit with the sheriff's office in Smith County. They got a system that's working well for them. No reason to reinvent the wheel. We'll adapt it to fit our county and our responsibilities, and we'll make it work. But it's up to y'all to vote how you want to do it.
However the court wants to go on the thing.
I feel your pain.
We're down 9 deputies and down 3 people in the jail. Okay. What I would suggest, this is what it was. This is what I would suggest. No matter whatever budget we set, so that we're using the grant funds up, because if we don't use them, we lose them.
They go away, yes, sir.
We gotta go back to the state, correct?
Yes.
So I would say, whatever the court decides to do, let's make these a priority for the next hirings after January 1st, after the grant's in place. In other words, those positions would be filled so that we get the maximum use of those grant funds.
Judge, if I didn't know better, I'd say you were sitting in on our meetings.
Okay, all right. Well,
Because we're on the same page there, is that we need to utilize those funds fully, because if we don't, they go away and we have no benefit to the county.
There's no guarantee of how long they'll stay either.
Just 2 years are guaranteed. Anything beyond those 2 years, no, sir, there's no guarantee. And we want to fully utilize them to the best of our ability to benefit Anderson County during this 2-year period. And I agree with you on that.
I was just trying to help you out on the bond situation.
I've just
Y'all
throwing-
asked me to try to come up with some ideas, so
just throwing my 2
I saw
cents out
that
there,
as an
Judge.
opportunity.
I'd be happy to take on any role of responsibility that we have that it benefits Anderson County. Thank you much.
No, I'm on. It is correct. Wow.
What do y'all think?
Well, Judge, after hearing the sheriff and listening to you, I think the deputy, special service would be the one we go with.
The one that has the deputy special service and the deputy / transport?
Yes, ma'am. And the budget's all in line?
I mean, I
You had to come up with extra 40,000.
Well,
guesstimated on the cert pay.
Let me ask Auditor a question. With the vacant positions that we got after the first year, I don't anticipate all those getting filled off. Just right at the first of the year. So some of those funds could be used for the extra that's gonna cost out of the general fund. How do y'all see that?
Can you do that?
What? I'm sorry, I'm not
Okay, if all
understanding
the
the question.
positions, there's nine deputies that are
Right.
vacant.
Right.
There's 3 jailers, so that's gonna leave some salary funds, so we don't have to take it out of contingency. They should have some out of salary that's gonna
Oh,
take care of the 43,760.
Right, if the sheriff,
weekly
you know,
or about-
signs off on moving that budget, moving excess budget to
I mean,
this fund.
if all
yes.
the positions are full
Right.
first of the year, then we'll have to do it from contingency.
Right.
What he's asking you is if you have positions that aren't filled and you have money that accrues, would you be able to use some of that?
If you're able to hire all these at, January 1.
My first question to you is, January 1, when this money exists for SB 22, is it possible for me to transfer existing employees over there to fully utilize that money? And that frees up budgeted Anderson County tax funds that will accumulate that can be used for other sources and other duties.
I don't know.
I
if-
wouldn't see why we couldn't.
I don't either, but I wanna,
That's an auditor question, so.
I'd like to
That's
ask the
something,
comptroller and make sure that that's okay.
That would help
Because
us
I mean,
a
it's
lot
not,
as a
we're not
county.
supplanting funds because this was our budget to begin with before this even came into play. So I don't see why not. But-
Yeah, but if we're able to do that, it's a good question, then it frees up our budget.
But
in Anderson
I don't,
County tax
if we
funds.
can do that, I don't wanna do it until we're actually awarded because we
That's
have to
right.
turn in the
So we-
application.
yeah, so we get the
But
receipt.
that money that we'd already paid January 1, we can move that over to the,
It
to
could be
this.
charged back to the grant because.
We can go
all
back
of-
to January
If you
1.
think about it, all these counties that have on a
Right, they're
October-
able to go back as well.
October budget are having to charge those back.
I don't know if the,
He's not hearing me. I knew that was gonna come up.
that's why I was trying to get by the microphone.
Just so the commissioners are aware, if we're able to do that, then that other, bond position could be funded probably in the first couple of months as salary surplus and funded for the rest of the year.
Okay, that's what we were trying to get at,
Okay.
All right, thank you.
if we find it.
Yes, sir.
Meeting of the minds.
So you making a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, are you making a motion that we approve the suggested budget from the sheriff to have 6 jailers, 1 deputy transport, 1 deputy special service? Actually, they're deputy and transport, deputy and special services. Needs to be said that way, correct? Okay. Is that your motion?
Yes, sir. Going along with the SB 22.
Okay. So, motion by Commissioner Mims for the Senate Bill 22 law enforcement, grant that, the court adopt a budget suggested by the sheriff for 1 deputy special services, 1 deputy transport, and 6 jailers in the amount of $543,765. That's your motion, correct?
That's correct.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Okay. My understanding is the grant application isn't out yet. It won't be till the 1st. That's what you told me at the comptroller's office, so. Okay. All right, item number 18 is consider and take action on an additional $11,339.86 needed for the purchase, placement, and installation of 2 generators for Tucker Water Supply Corporation to be paid with American Rescue Plan Act funds originally approved on March 28, 2023. All right, this is just a regular reimbursement that we've been working on for the year. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mims. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Item number 19, consider to take action on approving reimbursement $887.47 to Tucker Volunteer Fire Department for repairs on brush truck 4972 to be paid with approved American Rescue Plan Act funds. So, same thing on reimbursement.
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Mims to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Item number 20 is discuss and approve the correction of the record of serial numbers for the following road and bridge precinct 2 John Deere equipment. A John Deere 5085E cab air 4x4 tractor unit number 62. The correct serial number is 1 Lincoln Victor 5085 Edward Paul Frank Young 340159 John Deere 6415 MFWD tractor unit number 65. The correct serial number is George Ida Tom Adam 300762 and a 2012 John Deere 6430 4x4 cab tractor unit number 49. The correct serial number is Robert Ida Tom Adam 320533.
This was just
This
housekeeping.
is just a correction, right?
Yes, sir. This was just housekeeping. When we were going through inventory, we had 2 tractors with the same VIN number, and so so there was actually 3 John Deere tractors. So we wanted to just get it on the record, all straightened out.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered. Item number 21, consider to take action on declaring surplus for auction on the following juvenile probation assets. 2013 Chevrolet VN 2 George, 1 William Frank, 5 Edward, 37 David, 119 4098, 2015 Xerox copier serial number X-ray Edward Henry 004481, and a 2014 Canon copier, serial number, Queen Lincoln Adam 04266. We just need to declare those for surplus, correct?
Yes, sir, for the auction.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so ordered. Item number 22, consider and take action on declaring surplus for auction 3 chairs. It's actually 3 chairs and 2 couches from the Veteran Service Office that were previously donated. And, we've taken and, replaced the chairs down there so that they can take and, be able to clean those chairs daily and disinfect. And those couches, I've had multiple complaints, so anyway, we replaced the chairs, but we need to put those,
Surplus.
as surplus. And I talked to Vernon about it, and I said, so there's no question we need to move those to surplus and, put them in the auction. So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, so ordered. Item number 23, discuss for sending 2 phone numbers from the petition to reduce speed limit on Anderson County Road 1231, discussed in Commissioners Court on October 16, 2023. Take action as necessary.
Yes, sir. What I've got is the petition. I mean, I think it's nearly a page and a half. I have 2 of the people on here that are actually in law enforcement here, and they had realized that because this would be disclosed as public record, they just wanted their telephone numbers taken off of there so that they couldn't be called, and the only way to do that was to rescind through for the court's approval that we have them. Is that correct, to black it out or knock it out? Because
I talked to Allison about this, and I even asked Eric McGee to see, because I want to make sure we did this right.
Yes, sir.
Because they had talked to me right after we did this, okay? And I explained to them that that petition was not filed in the course of their employment, okay? That petition was filed as citizens of Anderson County to reduce the speed limit, right? And we were looking for anything that would give us the authority to be able to do what you're asking to do. Because once that was filed with it and became an official record with the clerk, then we can't alter it.
Okay.
And just to stay legal, because somebody could
That's
accuse
fine.
us of altering it.
We've held this up though, right? Is that correct, Mark? It's not been filed yet. So, and that was what, whenever they come to us and ask it, we try to get the council to tell us, what it can do. So I'll do either thing. It's not anything with me or about me. These 2, this family that's involved in law enforcement, they asked me, could we, and they called Mark, and Mark said, I'll hold it aside before I officially file it, and we'll see. So we've been holding it to see what the council says. So, the only thing I knew to do now, since we can't get a response from them on that, was to bring it back to the court to see if the court would submit filing that. But we can hold it up or send it through, and what it is the way it is. So,
Well, since it's a petition, and we accepted it and then set the hearing as a result of the petition, and we took action to lower the speed limit, we're not in a position to alter that now. Now, if they want to check with Allison to see if Mark can redact that information under an open records request, I don't know that they can. I asked her about that, we talked about it, but she had other things going on, and I couldn't get a written answer, okay?
yes.
So that'd be for Mark to ask her.
Well, that was the reason why Mark and I had struggled with this, trying to figure out what we could do with it. We have not been able to get the response back on that, so we were going to see if the courts could change it, but that's fine. We'll leave it like it is. We'll leave it.
I think it would create a problem for us as a court.
Okay.
To do
So the
that.
only other choice we have at this point then is to ask Allison as far as that goes, or just have it filed.
Well, it
someone
needs to be
doesn't open
filed
records
because we
request.
reduced the speed limit. It's got to be filed in the record.
Yes.
He's saying if someone does an open records request, if Mark could redact their names.
Yeah, that was
Right.
all. Yeah, they're just.
That's
wanting
what
to-
he's,
they're
that's
not
what
even
he,
wanting their
that's what
names on it.
Allison
Yeah.
thought, but wasn't
They're
100%.
I know what they're
If someone did
wanting.
an open
Yeah.
records request on that,
Yeah.
But they want part of their personal information redacted from the document.
That's exactly right.
Okay, but you're gonna have to get an opinion from the district attorney whether Mark can do that or not.
Okay,
Okay, because I think
Would that be okay?
officially it stands.
with you? And you've got the document and the whole bit of what it is, and I'll send this back. I mean, we can just go through and see what she says. Cause that's their whole request. They just would like that one particular for the personal information not to be disclosed as public record. That was what their request was.
Okay.
And when they signed it before they realized what they're doing, and there's 30 some odd signatures on it. So we've held the speed limit signs the whole bit, just waiting to disclose this or not too, so
Okay,
that'll be fine.
all right. So we'll pass on item number
Do
23.
you
then.
need this copy back? What, I got, okay. Good with me. I don't know.
All right, item number 24 is consider to take action on an interlocal agreement with the City of Palestine Precinct 1 Road and Bridge Department to move railroad tracks from FM 323 to Main Street located by the Visitor Center. Commissioner Chapin.
Yes, sir. Actually, it's two things, the way she, had to put on here. I just wanted to make sure that our interlocal agreement with the city was up to date so that this comes up, that they ask us to do things.
Yes.
And I'd like to renew our interlocal agreement and have you to sign it and send it to C, because they'll sometimes have us do multiple different things that'll come up throughout the year. But the requests come for the railroad tracks, I guess it's base group out here. They have some spare tracks laying around and they've donated it. Said they would give it to the museum here in the city. And they asked if we had the equipment to move the 40-foot pieces of rack. They're going to load them or what, and then we're just going to take them over and unload them. I just told them that if this is all in place, I don't mind taking and moving the rail to their museum. They were supposed to extend their tracks at the museum and put another, I think they've been donated a box car or something, so I'm not familiar with that or how they're even going to get that there. It might be something they requested later for assistance. But I would also like to have the court to know or on record that Precinct 1 is willing to move the track for them if it's the court, if the court don't mind, and prove it, just like we do with the equipment to the school.
Did you have a copy of the interlocal agreement? I know Kathy was working on that.
No,
I
I don't.
never get a copy of it.
Let me see here. I don't know if she included it in my package.
I didn't see one.
No, I didn't have
Well,
it.
I think she
I
did
knew
what
she
you
was
asked
working
her
on
to
it.
do.
We
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah, I had to.
It's the same interlocal agreement the court did before, correct?
Yes.
Made the changes
It's just
like what you
updated.
requested to update it. I think the way she did it. Let me see what she said.
Mike, have you got that CDW contract? Okay. All waiting on that.
Thank you. I don't see it though. Is it the package that you gave me or the one in my envelope?
It was
Or
just
the one
to add
that
language.
she puts in front of us?
Vendor policies, the data belongs to us.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I got. And that, speed limit request.
Okay, here it is.
We own our
Yeah,
own
it's all
data.
together. Okay, I got it for you. Thank you. It's in this other package.
So everything in red is a change.
It wasn't but about a handful of items that needed to be changed. And, IT worked with Allison to make sure it's changed.
That's
Oh,
in our
okay.
agreement.
Okay.
I think you said page 18 and what page? Sir?
Yeah.
24.
24.
Page 18, 24.
Essentially, those were things we added to the contract that protected us. As IT working with Allison identified those that needed to be added.
This whole page, 18, was part of it.
Yeah, and there was one, I think, what was it, 24?
24.
Yeah, I've got my old, in my office, I got my old contract, I don't have it compared to, I just see what y'all changed them.
Oh, and also the, 72-hour notice that was another thing that we didn't have originally, was that if there were a breach or anything, that they would not notify us. So if there's something that was breached on their side, that was in road or.
They gotta notify us.
They had to notify us within
Yeah.
72 hours.
Where's CDW out of? Chicago. I was just wondering.
All right, on, the interlocal agreement, I have a copy of it and I've read over it. I'll entertain a motion to approve the interlocal agreement, for use of equipment precinct 1 between Anderson County and the city of Palestine. Do I have a motion?
Do we need to include also in the motion that to go ahead to approve you to sign that for us? I mean, wasn't there
Yeah, well,
requirements?
and you can, and authorize the county judge.
Judge sign the contract
Interlocal
when-
agreement?
Yes, sir.
That's
Just
fine.
add that to it.
Yes, sir.
That way it can all be done in one.
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chapin, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered.
Now then, do we need to take any action on our I really no action, I don't know why I say, I guess just the court having a problem
Are
with.
you gonna, how soon are you gonna do it? We can put it on the 27th.
Okay, cause it could be, no, they said it could be up to 2 months or so before they're ready for it.
All right, why don't we put it on the 27th, just,
Okay.
and word it to authorize you to do what you're talking about doing.
If they're asking
Is that all
us
right?
to do it, that's fine.
Okay,
I don't mind doing it for them.
okay. Cause we need to get this signed by the city also,
Yes.
and approved by council, so, okay.
Yeah.
That'll give us time to do that.
I think we need that in one place, like I said, we need the
Just
interlocal
cover
with the
it in
city.
case anything.
It'll be 2 weeks before they can put it on agenda, cause they got a meeting today, I think. All right. Well, we got CDW there, are you okay? Can we authorize me to sign the contract with CDW?
Yeah, make the motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Chapin. Let me go back to my agenda item. Motion by Commissioner Chapin to, approve and authorize county judge to sign the contract on previously approved quote by Commissioners Court with CDW, for disaster recovery. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mims. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered. Okay. All right, item number 25, consider and take action on preliminary plat for Rustic Pine RV located on US Highway 79 South. Commissioner Mims.
Yes, sir. Actually, we have emergency management here, and we have people who are with the RV Park, would you please come up, sir? So, this will be our actual first, plat that we're gonna approve, for the RV Park. I do know that when I say first, this is the first one that I had dealings with in the city's ETJ. And I do know that he went on and took the opt-out option, so I don't think there's anything else we need to do other than make sure they are going by our septic regulations, and there was a few other items that they'll have to check off with emergency management. His frontage will be off of 79, so there's no county road involved, but everything else will be in line with the emergency management coordinator and just following our regular subdivision guidelines.
Yes, I did bring copies if y'all wanted to see them.
Yes, sir.
I'll hand those out real quick.
And
You doing all right? You gotta state your name and everything.
yeah, when you get back up there, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, if you could state your name.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
who
Your
you
Honor.
represent.
Good morning. My name is Mark Mullen. This morning, I am representing Rustic Pines RV Resort. I appreciate y'all's time this morning, letting us come in. We have had a little bit of confusion. When I say RV park, RV resort, we've been around the Palestine area, Anderson County, so there's multiple different types. What we have in our plans and our image is more of like Whipple Tree out near the Kubota location. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that location or not.
Yes.
So we have experience. I know it's getting close to lunchtime, and I don't want to talk too long, but
That's the one that's right where our landfill, as you turn to go to the landfill, right across over there. That RV
Oh,
park.
yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
So this was originally planned by my father-in-law and my wife. This was an idea that they had had. He had wanted to do it for 20-some years, just never pulled the trigger on it. I'm a realtor, and I do some real estate investing on the side. And I had actually flipped an apartment complex, a small one, and I guess inspired him, and I got some things talking. Anyways, my wife and my father-in-law, Albus Higginbotham, they had decided to finally pull the trigger and make an RV park. So they wanted to do that together, and he actually passed away after we started, and so this project's kind of fallen into my hands, and my wife as well. She's still helped out a lot, but I've handed out preliminary plat and everything in there that the county has asked for. So I didn't really know what all I was getting into at the beginning of this. I've been thrown to the city, the county,
Yes.
back and forth.
As I stated, this was the first project for Precinct 2 to have an ETJ. It is one of our numerous projects that we currently have in limbo with ETJ, but he has already took the opt-out option, so he has to comply with nothing that they need over there. Just go along with our stuff, and he has his highway department road frontage paperwork in here. He has his septic in here. He has his surveys in here. I mean, he's met all of the county requirements. And the holdup for months have been the ETJ till he found out he could opt out, and that's what they took. And so now we're at this point.
Any questions by the commissioner? No, so you reviewed it?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
As of right now, I believe I have another court date already set for the 27th for a
Okay,
final.
That's the last one of the year for us, yes, sir.
And I hope that goes through. Our funding is due at the end of the year. So our loan matures. We need to get this job completed. And I believe there's already been a push for our septic permit to be approved.
Septic is there a permit issued on that, Tara?
Yes, sir. There is a permit that is pulled, and we have tanks that are possibly scheduled, or they are scheduled for the 18th to be set. We had talked to Mr. Mims about it, and he felt comfortable for proceeding to issue those. So we did issue the permit, and it is scheduled on the 18th to start that system.
And the problem you had with the permitting again for the septic is the fact that it's going to be a part of ETJ, but they're not going to provide them sewer, so they're going to go with septic.
Yes, sir. they're not gonna provide services, so,
Is it aerobic system?
yes, sir.
Okay.
In the documentation, if you have questions about it, it's been it's an engineered, document that's in there. We've had the septic
vetted.
engineers.
Yes, sir.
We don't want any issues
No, it's
with
vetted.
septic.
No, we don't either.
Are there any other questions?
I had to say that. Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or anything I can do on my end to push this project along or to any information that you guys have?
Sir, appreciate you.
I don't.
I have none.
Everybody all right? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Rustic Pine RV, located on US Highway 79 South. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill. Is that a second?
That's
Second by Commissioner Dixon. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered. Item number 26, consider and take action on a land use agreement between Anderson County Precinct 3 and Kenneth Flowers. Commissioner Dixon.
Yes, sir. I have a land use agreement, Mr. Flowers. He has approximately 150 acres on Harrison County Road 435 that he's allowed the county to have access to. I don't know for how many years. I know it for the last 15 that I've been in office, and how long before that. And I'd just like to renew my land use agreement with him, and on it, I pay him a sum of $2,400 a year to have access to that land, to be able to use it for different needs of the precinct.
You got a copy of the agreement? Is this one for the record?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need one file stamp too?
No, I'll get one from Mark after he gets through.
Okay. All right. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion. I'm sorry.
No, this is another.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the land use agreement between Anderson County Precinct 3 and Kenneth Flowers. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chapin. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered. Item number 27, consider to take action on an agreement to purchase clay from Kenneth Flowers.
Yes, sir. Also on his land, he allows us to access his clay. It used to be an iron ore. We used to receive iron ore from him, but all that is gone at this point. It's just left to clay. And this agreement with him is just to pay him the sum of $2 per yard for any clay that we remove from his property.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Chapin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered. Consider to take action on authorizing the sheriff to purchase a Ford Explorer Interceptor and a Dodge 3/4 ton four-wheel drive truck from Silsby Fleet in the amount of $107,802.25, funded partially from existing unexpended sheriff's office funds, and an additional source to be identified by the Commissioner Court. Sheriff Flores.
Again, good morning. These figures have been vetted through the auditor's office, and the budget amendment passed to move that over to capital in anticipation of making this presentation. That fund amount that we'll have is $91,200 available. We need to prepare for the additional personnel, like the mental health deputy that we're getting from the Commissioner's Court in the coming up budget, as well as the deputies that we anticipate from SB 22 and funding them in the new year. What we didn't include in the budget that was passed by the Commissioner's Court were vehicles for these individuals. So we'll need to find a way of financing that. We can handle right now, like I said, $91,200 out of the existing funds. We also believe that there'll be enough budgetary money in place to continue through the end of this budget year without any emergencies, but we'll need to identify a funding source and get the Commissioner's Court's approval to make this purchase and make up the difference between our amount and the $107,802.25 that the purchase price will be. These are state contract on the, so they're not part of the bidding process. They're something that we can purchase if we get the funding immediately.
Will there you need, what about, outfitting these vehicles? Is that something that you have the funds do every first year, or what? What do you have to do to outfit?
Commissioner, we were planning on trying to do that after the first of the year out of unexpended, salary funds. If the court would like to approve an extra $15,000 to outfit those, we would certainly be willing to accept it. But we weren't gonna ask for it. We are actually buying an additional vehicle at a commissary, and I'll outfit it at a commissary, since it'll be a transport vehicle, it's exclusive to the use of inmates, so it serves them, and it's an allowable purchase.
On the balance, were you able to find, was that possible?
Contingency,
I know you were looking at the budget and trying to make sure what was there.
107,802 minus 912. Yeah.
It's about 16,000.
That's the amount that we need, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's the balance we need to make up.
and of course, there is ARPA as well.
Do we have ARPA funds?
Yes, there is ARPA.
Okay.
I asked this question Friday, I just forgot to write the number down. There's 41,000 in contingency, so there is 17,000 there.
If there's any more money available in the sheriff's budget to,
There is ARPA.
In ARPA.
Oh, what?
You're saying in contingency?
In the general
Not
fund
ARPA, but
contingency, yes.
It's still 40-some odd thousand is what you said.
I'm sorry, Kenneth, what did you say?
If there's any more money left in their, salary by the end of the year, is that something that can be looked at before these purchases paid for? Or?
Yes, but I made the, my only concern with the sheriff's office right now is their medical. So that's an unknown and,
Wait and see about that.
yeah,
We
so.
don't know about that till what? End of January, early February?
February.
Because that was the one concern I had about moving all this money was medical, but with the positions that are currently down, there should be enough to cover that if some, if big bills come in, because that's unknown.
But we can look at it if that's a possibility, right? We'll just have to do a budget amendment to take care of it, so, to capital outlay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what do y'all want to do for you want to just do it at contingency? We'd have to do it now to get a PO for them to order them, to get the vehicles. I mean, we can't just see if there's extra salary later.
If it's in contingency, I'd say do it now out of that, and then.
If there's money left over in their budget, but at the end of the year, they can't use it anyways because the year's over. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. So.
What, do we need to get something together?
I would say a verbal budget amendment, from contingency to vehicles I would say just do it for 17,000, just to cover it.
Is that number 148?
No, I
I'm
think
trying
that
to
would be
remember.
177.
Okay, hold on.
I think that would be the next one.
177. What's the budget amendment gonna be out of contingency?
177 for 17,000.
No, that's dollar amount, 17,
Yes, sir.
17.
even?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve authorizing sheriff to purchase a Ford Explorer Interceptor and a Dodge 3/4 ton, four-wheel drive truck from Silsby Fleet in the amount of $107,802.25 funded from, partially from the existing sheriff's unexpended, funds, and then the balance to be funded out of, contingency with budget amendment approving budget amendment number 177 to move 17,000 from contingency to capital outlay.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Dixon, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, so ordered. Item number 29, hear from Sheriff Flores regarding the jail Wi-Fi project, courthouse video project, Sheriff's Office construction project. Sheriff?
Just an update on some of the things that we've had in front of the Commissioners Court in the last few months. The jail Wi-Fi project, all the infrastructure, material, equipment, it is installed. It's done. We're waiting on one thing that the medical service provider for the digitized records has to provide, and then everything will be active and live, and we'll start utilizing the Wi-Fi. The courthouse video project, they've been receiving the equipment and supplies. They're scheduled to begin the installation this week. And on the Sheriff's Office construction project, they may be there as early as this afternoon to start their project. If not, they anticipate starting in the morning.
Is that Calvary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to make sure Calvary gets with our IT department. And I talked to them about this back when we were negotiating or trying to do the quote. I want to make sure that they sit with our IT department to run any cabling and everything as the walls are going up or changing. Okay? I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So they don't put a wall up, then we got to come back.
Oh.
You see what I mean? I want to make sure all the cabling is in there because I've already talked to Mike and I talked to Calvary about it. So, okay.
I don't think that's going to be an issue, but we will coordinate if it becomes an issue.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff.
All right.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hill, all in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
We got some stuff we gotta sign.
I think so, we got minutes. And that ordinance, we gotta sign an ordinance. Yeah, let's. Here's the ordinance.
Hi. I'll find out about that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an issue. I just want to make sure.
We're agreeing with your choice. None of it's a real issue. We will not have that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit in front of my heater. I'm gonna sit in front of my heater. I'm freezing.
I heard you.